Yo, guys. So, last couple videos, I've been talking about this idea of 1,000 true fans. So I figured I might as well just take a step back and actually come over to this page. I think it's a blog post, and talk about it. It's really an idea. It's the idea that inspired me to really jump in and get back into training a little bit earlier than I should. It's put a time crunch on me, but I don't care. It's something that's very, very intriguing to me. And if you're a marketer, this is, even though this isn't written for marketers, it absolutely is written for marketers. This will change your perspective because it changed my perspective in a very, very big way. And here's what this is about. Well, yeah, let me go there first. Here's what this is about. The 1,000 True Fans article, and I very highly suggest you read this immediately, is all about how to win in life. I don't know how to say it any other way. If you're not like Pepsi or Coke or Amoco or Walmart, we can't all be that. This is like the next best thing, especially for you and I as marketers, right? Because we're very, very niche creatures. We're like if we were a key, we would open one really weird lock. There'd be something very valuable on the other side. But that's all we would do. We wouldn't open lots of doors. We would be this weird thing. Very valuable, but weird. Like, I'm me. I appeal to some people. Some people dig me. Probably a lot of people don't, right? But if I focus on a finite quantitative number of those people, you, and I give you value, and I ask myself, how can I make sure that you become a true fan? Then for me, that can be something that can support me as a marketer for the rest of my life. And when I say me, it means you, right? I'm not talking about me. And so here's how this changed my entire way of thinking. Forever, I've always thought about, the idea of creating a relationship. I mean, going back to like '06, I remember doing trainings for Success University and talking about relationship marketing and email marketing and all these sorts of things. But I thought about it conceptually, also like tangibly. Like, what are the things you actually do, right? Like, one of the things I would always tell people, and the reason that I, for a very long time, wrote 2 emails every single day. I don't know, 5,000, 6,000, however many emails I've written at this point, a lot, is it has a lot to do with that relationship in a very tangible way. Human psychology dictates that the things that we become most comfortable with, the things we get most used to, we become most comfortable with, better said, and the things that we get most used to, we learn, we trust. And so we can manipulate that into our favor if we understand it. In other words, if we can put a certain number of people into a consistent stream of our blah, 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 they will come to expect our blah, 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 right? And once that's happened long enough, it's status quo. And once it's status quo, then it's becoming trust. Now, it's intangible when that actually happens, but look at your friends, look at people that you don't know, your friends you talk to, your family you talk to, you trust them more, right? Well, that's the same principle behind 2 emails a day, all right? So even back then, like, I knew some of this stuff. Same thing with free content. People talk about free content all the time, and, oh, you gotta send free content, but I don't think they get it, right? Free content, sending quote unquote valuable free content, maybe this video is considered valuable free content, who knows, um, doesn't make you money. It doesn't, it's not like if you dig this video, you're gonna be like, oh, dig, and I need to give you $1,000. I'll accept it, please send it, right? But I don't think you're gonna do it. But what it does do is it buys attention. If you have if I elicit a positive feeling from you, when you listen or read or go through things that I do, then the next time that opportunity presents itself, you'll feel good, and you'll focus your attention my way. And again, when I say my way, I mean for you, your prospects will do the same to you. And so I get this, I get all this stuff. I got all this stuff for years. I just remember so many people talking about free content, move the free line. This was an Evan Pagan thing back in the day. He got it in the way that he shared it, but people absolutely misrepresented it. But I never, ever freaking thought about this way. This is written for musicians, okay? And what musicians try to do a lot of times is they try to become Aerosmith or Michael Jackson or whatever. And there's a high level of diminishing return once you get to a certain level. And it's just not even probable that, a lot of them will. You're never going to get there, and life is just going to hurt. And what a certain number of musicians and other small, weird, niche-y type of people like us have figured out these days is that if you just really focus on a core group of people and you turn them into raving fans. And what I mean by raving fans is people that, whenever you do something, they're ready. Like, let's go do it. When's the next event? When's the next product coming out? When are we doing the next webinar, right? They're like, I can't wait. Just tell me when. Just tell me where. Let's go. Let's do it. That's a true fan. If you focus on, and for me, this was the first time I said, well, man, 1,000 true fans in that regard. That's a very finite number. That's something that I can start to think about tangibly. What are real factors that I can quantifiably test, track, and all of that, such that I can say, okay, today I have 200 true fans, and last week I had 194. So I'm doing something that's increasing my number of true fans. And if I do those things a little more, then I can continue to create more true fans. Now, the game here isn't to have 1 trillion true fans. I mean, you can, but that's not even close to the purpose. This is written, again, for musicians. So 1,000 true fans for musicians, think about what musicians get paid. They get paid if they have a CD and they have production costs for those CDs, or if they have stuff on no one buys CDs anymore. It's crazy. If they have someone buy something from them on iTunes or Amazon or wherever it is, they've got to pay a fee. And so most of the time, music these days isn't $10, $12 at the most. So each time they make a sale, they might get $7 or less. Who knows? It's not a ton, right? So 1,000 true fans might represent to a musician maybe $100,000 or $200,000 in gross revenue. And you take away expenses from that, and it's a comfortable living. It's not a huge, tremendous whatever living, but it's a good living, right? And so for us, it's smaller. I mean, some of the folks, I've talked about some of my students, but some of the folks, some of the things that people buy from people in our niche can be quite pricey. So let's say, for instance, your average product value, and it might not be, is $1,000, right? And your average customer, when you release a new product, decides to give you $1,000. Well, if you had 1,000 of them and you release 3 products per year like that, that's a good living. So you can see how the numbers are way smaller for us, which gives us so much more control over what we're going to do in our life, in our business, and there's so much more joy in that, really. I mean, if you can see the fruits of your labor, and that's why I love what I do, because when I look at Jonathan Budd, and I remember where he started, and I know that I remember, each progression, and then $500,000 launch, $1 million launch, $2 million launch, boom. I remember Dave and Dave. I remember David Wood going into Maximum Leverage, buying all my stuff. He like that guy is one of the smartest people I've ever met. Totally opposite way than me, but yeah, I take notes when he talks every single time. Like, dude, I never would have thought of that. But I remember him going to Maximum Leverage. He had no concept of like creating his own products, and he's like, man, I could create my own products. And then he did, and he made some good money. And then boom, him and David Sharp get together and empower, right? Matt Lloyd, right? Matt Lloyd, $1.5 million. I remember $900 per month. This is the joy I get. I look at guys like Mark Call. Man, Mark started. He owned a grocery store in Maine, and now he makes $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. Lawrence Tam. I could keep going on like literally forever. I remember him coming to an event, and I mean, we was doing a little bit, maybe $6,000 or $7,000 a month, decent, but not $100,000 a month with no cost. That's a sweet living. And so the whole point of this is, number one, think about your customers. How many do you actually? We're not customers, fans, people that are down for whatever you do. How many do you actually need? And what do you have to do to create them? Now, there's cool math in this thing too, by the way. Like, there's some like weird squared thing where if your true fans hang out with each other, like I emphasize, come read this. It's definitely for marketers. Then they exponentially grow in value because they like the group love, I guess, just goes around and creates perpetual energy of like giving you cool stuff and loving you. And so there's all sorts of goodness in this idea of 1,000 true fans. And for me as a marketer, a guy that was, went to school and I studied biology and chemistry was my minor. I'm a guy that like wants to test and wants to figure that out. And this is quantifiable. And so this blog, I mean, I'm going to tell you flat out, is I'm very excited about it because my perspective of this is I get to do what's never been done. I'm going to literally spoil you with badassness over and over and over again. And the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is love me. Like right when you see this video, all I want you to do is share it. Man, just say like, dude, this was awesome. I got this out of this from Dagan. You got to go watch it. Just share it. Just be a part of it. And so this whole site, like I said, was, and the reason why I jumped back into training again was I've always, I love it, but that idea was so intriguing. It pushed me back in. I'm excited to be here. And this theory is something quantifiable, tangible. Read the article, you'll see it. And it applies absolutely to your business. And so I want you to start asking questions like that. If I could create 1,000 true fans, what are some of the things that I could do to make that happen? And that's the experiment that I'm running here on my blog. What are the things, and I know lots of psychology, marketing, and all that stuff just from over the years, and I get to do it in a totally different way for a totally different purpose. And when you can do it with small numbers, it doesn't even have to be 1,000, 100, right? Really 100 true fans in our world you could live like a king or a queen, of course. And man, just get ready for some fun. 1,000 true fans, that's not that many. It's really not that many. So how can you be cool to people, give them so much value? And value is not, here's something cool that I learned from you. It's an experience, okay? It's not, well, I told them my secret. Nah, no one cares about your secret. No one cares about my secret. We care about the experience. When you give that over and over and over again, we can't help but want more. And so that's my goal. And that's the whole purpose of what you see right here. And just expect more. So get engaged. Let's rock and roll. And read that article. If you like this video, please share it. I mean, that's just really the only thing I want you to do. is just if there's a thing or two, just share it with someone that can enjoy it too, and I would just appreciate it. I mean, that's what I look to. I mean, I'm a geek in that way. I'm always like, oh, who's sharing? Oh, I know that person. I have relationships with as many of my customers and clients as I possibly can. So I take absolute notice of that, and I'm here to support you. So what I know, you will know. We're about to have a lot of fun, and that's it. 1,000 True Fans. Read it over and over again, and ask yourself how you can apply to your business and how you can make it tangible for you. What things can I do that I can actually track? And then start playing. Man, you're going to be in for the time of your life.